I didn't. I was really good about the Saturday. And then I didn't. I just didn't. I can't even remember why I didn't on Sunday. Actually, you know why? Because I was upset about something else. And then I couldn't do it because I would have just talked about that thing I was upset about, which wouldn't have been helpful for anyone. So I need to calm down because despite the fact that I'm, like, really happy about this being completely off the cuff and, like, who cares, I do also want to have some measure of calm and not say things I would regret potentially later. Like, I don't care how cuffed it is, but, like, it's like, even if I said that in, like, this is what I would, like, I'm fine with this being, like, this is what I would say in real life. It's like, also, if that happened, if I said that in real life, or even, actually, no, like, I was regretting saying it out loud to myself in my room instantly. So I was like, I can't record like this, like, that kind of thing, you know? Have you ever had a conversation with yourself and it's like, that was a stupid thing to say? No, luckily no one has ever heard that, so it's basically like, I was in that kind of mood. And that kind of just put a whole dash on my week. I was really stressed about today. I ended up not eating breakfast. I'd been struggling eating the few days before, which wasn't fun. But I got through it, and I'm at the end of the day, and I'm feeling a lot better. Small group definitely helped. Small group helped a lot. We actually talked about the song New Wine, which, like, for a long time was, like, my favourite song, and oh fuck, now looking back on it, it's like, that really relates to my life. Like, in the crushing, in the pressing, we are making new wine. In the soul I now surrender. Make me your vessel, make me an offering, make me whoever you want me to be. And it's like, I sung that as a child a lot. Like, not even a child, technically a teenager. I am still a teenager. Tomorrow, that won't be the case, but, like, just as a youngish teenager, 15 to 16, 17, like, definitely a lot in high school. I sung it a lot in high school. That's a good way. That's a accurate statement. And then, like, I very much wanted it, but when that stuff happened, I was very lucky to not blame God. Like, honestly, I'm surprised. Like, a lot of people probably would have gone, God, why are you doing this? And instead I just went, I am a terrible person, I deserve all of this, which probably also wasn't a good response. But, you know, life happens, you get better. You trust the Lord more. And it was kind of like a thing of, like, this is, but also very much a thing of, like, I was saying those words, and I very much had a thing of, like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. And I wasn't listening to the Lord at all. And I was just basically like, this is what you're going to do. This, I am shutting down everything. I am making you regret all of life's decisions. And then I regret all life's decisions. And then I did things that I didn't want to do, but were really, really easy to do. And yeah, it turns out that that's what God wanted me doing all along. Like, so teaching is, like, the best thing that ever happened to me, and going into it, I was like, this is going to be awful. I enjoyed it so fucking much. Like, that's God being good. That is God being really, really good. Also, I got paid so well. Like, that was my first job, and I was, like, getting paid $25 an hour. Like, that is really good. Like, insanely good. Like, God is good. Like, God is good. Like, it might not feel like it, but coming out of it, I realized I'm a better person. I'm closer to God, and it's better. And it's like, even at church, we're talking about wrestling with God. That was the whole topic of wrestling with God. Basically, putting your frustrations and burdens on God. And while during that time, I was kind of doing that. I wasn't mad at God for what he was doing in my life, but I was mad at God for the state of the world. Like, the world's a shit place, and it's one of the reasons I started this, because I'm like, I have no idea what to do, but maybe this will do something. This is me actively influencing the world in some form or shape, in a way that I don't know if I can do in my real life, because I feel powerless in my real life. But this is something that'll be there forever, and maybe, hopefully, it'll positively impact someone somewhere, and if it just impacts and makes one person stay brighter, then I've done enough. So yeah, some songs can be like freaking heavy, and it's like you sing them half because you believe them, and it might be because you don't understand the words. And now going back, I'm singing them because I believe the words, and they're so good words, and I am thankful for every second of it. And sometimes you sing those words and you understand them and you don't want them to happen, and you won't want them to happen until they do happen. Like, there's a lot of memes, I think, Christian memes of like, put me in the fire, but like, no, don't really, God, don't, like, not even a metaphorical fire, like, maybe give me a cake, maybe metaphorical fire is like a cake, it's like not actually the fire, it's like, yeah, that's not happening, you sung it, now it's happening, and it might happen, or maybe it won't happen, but whatever, it's kind of like, yes, God's gonna like, haha, nope, you are going to go. Prosperity gospel is stupid and shit, and I hate it. And anyone who follows the prosperity gospel, I believe, is not a Christian. Like, that's a bold statement, I know, but if someone ever comes up to me and is like, oh, I'm a Christian, I go this, and they're like, oh, how can you believe that? Like, shouldn't God be giving you everything all the time? And I'm like, I don't know if you're a Christian. And it's because there's something intrinsically human about suffering. And God doesn't take away from the human experience. He adds to it. And I don't think because you're a Christian you'll never go through suffering. In fact, the more Christian you are, the more suffering you'll go through. And I don't mean even, and not necessarily you, but you will feel the suffering of others. The more Christian you are, the more you'll feel the suffering of others, and therefore their suffering will impact on you. And you can't escape, as a Christian, you can't escape suffering, whether it be your own or other people's. And to think that concept, and to think that the whole point of Christianity is to escape suffering is wrong. But it's also wrong to think that it's embracing suffering, because the reason you experience suffering is because you understand what is going on in the world is wrong, and you want to do everything in your power to change it. And instead of ignoring it and leaving on and giving it to someone else to fix it, it means there's a burden placed on you that you actually have to be the one that stands up and does something about it. And that's a very scary something indeed. Like, no one wants to be the one that gets up and actually says, this is wrong. That stands up to the dictator and says, we need to be better. Who stands up to the person in power and goes, haha, find another way. It's scary. Like, think about, like you see all those comedians, like, making, American comedians making jokes about how terrible the government is, and all I can think of, I know it seems weird to say because America's all about freedom, but it's all about freedom, and it's like, you're actually doing something really brave because that country is getting more and more fascist, and you're actually could potentially get into a lot of trouble for what you're doing because you're doing the right thing and you're calling out your government on being bad. And isn't that scary? Because that's supposed to be a first world country. That's supposed to be a country where that doesn't happen. That's supposed to be where democracy reigns, and yet democracy has never failed harder than in America. Because it's no longer in to the point where in some ways it's no longer democracy. It's less this is a showcase of democracy failing, and more of this is not what democracy looks like. And that's a scary fact indeed. I was totally planning on reading Matthew today, but I just didn't. I don't think I will. So yeah, pray for people in America, because like that state's getting, like, some of their states are getting very fascist right now, and it's not good. Like, they are the leader of the world. They control. Ooh, like that. America has way too much power. Meaning, while we the people are getting disenfranchised, I don't know if the governments are. Because America has a lot of power, and its power comes from its military, and its military spending isn't going down. Trump's going to be running again, and well, potentially running again, and that's even scarier because it means they might have to vote Biden again, and they all recognize that Biden isn't good enough, and that's terrifying. Well, I do think Trump and like how America's going has taught us that the rest of the world needs to distance itself from America and make better choices. I don't know how accurate that's going to be because the other superpower in the world that exists currently is China, and now maybe Russia's making a comeback, and it's just all three of them are shit and terrible, and it's like I don't know if we have a good nation out there that we can aspire to, except we do, and they're not the ones on the world stage. So I suppose pray for the state of the world. Pray for the people suffering. Pray for all that is wrong in the world because there is so much wrong going on. But maybe you can make a difference. Give a smile to someone. We're actually doing a thing in small group where we're trying to bless people. And I'm having trouble with that. Getting home, I realized that maybe making biscuits for like a group, some people at school was actually blessing them, and I didn't kind of realize that that was a thing because that would just be a nice thing to do. And technically, it's only now clearing in my mind that that's technically what blessing is. So like, oh well. So I definitely could have listed something, but also it's like at the same time, it's like I don't go out much. Like I'm not good at talking to people, and the only friends I have, I'm trying to organize something this weekend that will be a blessing to them, but like I have no idea how many of them are gonna show up, so like that's a bit awkward. I'm trying to bless them, but I have no idea how because getting in contact with them is hard because I don't know what they're on to be in contact with them, and I definitely don't, and I don't have all their phone numbers. Like we made a group chat, and I'm basically the only one that talks in the group chat. So that's like annoying. I don't know why I'm venting about this stuff, but like the world is complicated. Do what you can. Smile when you can. The days will get better. Some days will be hard, some days will be easy. All you can do is keep getting out of bed. Don't lock yourself in the darkness forever. Bye. Bye.